Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Ian here, and this evening we've got a cool guest. This guy is, in a word, fun. That's what I describe him as. So whether you're with him in the boardroom sipping on sparkling water or on the dance floor in New Orleans sipping on a Sazerac, he's just literally quite a ton of fun. His name is Andrew Dennison. He's a graduate of the University of Michigan, previously director of business development at SkySpecs, and is now COO at LIFT Technologies. He's based in Chicago, Illinois. Thank you so much for joining us this evening in San Francisco, Andrew.
It is my pleasure, Ian. Thanks for having me.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So a little bit of background. Andrew and I had quite a fun, epic night in New Orleans at the AUVSI show.
Definitely epic.
So yeah, so hopefully we'll have many more of those. But that's why, Andrew's just a super fun guy. So always a pleasure to have you over here. So first of all, what is LIFT Technologies?
LIFT is a drone operator network. We specialize in flying for big companies nationwide, and specifically 24-hour turnaround for big companies nationwide.
Okay. Cool. So 24-hour turnaround, like from whenever they say, hey, we need this job done, you guys go ahead and get out there and get it to them.
Absolutely. News is one of our big clients, and news happens fast and it goes away fast too. So you got to be ready.
Absolutely. Cool. And so you guys are headquartered in Chicago, Illinois, but you do business all over the place.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So Clayco, they're involved in LIFT. Can you explain the involvement and maybe like who is Clayco for some people who don't know?
Sure. So Clayco is a almost $2 billion construction company headquartered in Chicago, and they had been researching drone technology internally for about a year, and then realized, wow, this is much bigger than just our company. This is something that could impact the country, and decided to take that internal research and build on it by starting their own drone service business, right? And they brought me in. I was running my own company out of my garage to sort of get this thing off the ground. And I hate using that word. People always use that and they laugh. Dang it.
Plagues the industry.
It does. Clayco is our main investor, also our first testbed client, and they've really helped us understand how large companies are looking at drones from an operational perspective and also from a risk perspective, and specifically around compliance have really helped us sort of beef up our operations.
Gotcha. So Clayco, huge construction company,
Huge.
One of the largest in the United States.
Yeah, I think they're top 20.
Okay, cool. Very, very nice. So they're quite involved with LIFT, and you guys, as I understand, are going to be also expanding your operator network, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
We're always looking for more operators, right? Because we have these calls that come in and they need to get done quickly. And, we had a call recently that was 5 hours north of Edmonton, Canada. It's hard to find people quickly up there, okay? Trust me, because we found someone. He was great. But yes, we need operators specifically right now. We're looking for 2 operators about 50 miles south of Atlanta for a couple of jobs that we just got.
Okay.
So if you live there, please call me. Okay?
Hopefully this airs in enough time to still have those jobs, because I have a feeling that this is going to lapse a couple weeks from the recording now.
Okay.
But okay, cool. So operator network, if you guys are certified drone pilots and you can do commercial operations, then Andrew would be interested in talking to you, and hopefully it's a win-win for everybody. Everybody gets some work, client gets the job done, boom. What kind of jobs are we talking here?
LIFT specialized, obviously construction is our first set, and we do weekly flights, daily flights, whatever the construction site wants. We also work with broadcasters and fly for them and cook up to the broadcast truck. We've done live shots on some big news channels. We're doing real estate videos. So we produce great looking, hey, check out my new building, I want to sell stuff.
Gotcha.
And the last area, the fourth, is insurance.
Okay.
We're helping them with catastrophe response and also with roof inspections for claims processing.
Okay, cool.
It is cool. Thank you.
So what's your background, Andrew? I mean, you went to University of Michigan. You hail from Detroit, Michigan.
Go Blue.
How did you get to where you are at today?
Yeah.
I mean, why are you in the drone industry?
Great question. Well, I ran a painting business in college.
Painting?
Yes.
Like paint?
Like painting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
All
very
right.
complicated, right? But it was nationwide. We had 300 painters painting every day all summer. And when I decided to leave the painting business, I wanted to do something that would be similar. And drones is going to be similar. They're
Painting houses every time.
painting houses.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I had 300 painters painting every day. I wanted to be part of a technology that was going to be nationally scaled, similar to what I was familiar with in the painting industry, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be thousands of drones flying every day. I think anyone listening to this podcast probably believes that. And every drone is going to have an operator, and those operators are going to be nationwide. So the service business aspect to the drone industry was similar to what I had learned already.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, it's new technology. It's really cool. I hooked up with Sky Specs in Ann Arbor. They were in where I went to school. It all just kind of felt right. And now, a couple years later, here we are.
There
Thanks
we
for having me
go.
on the drone podcast now. Look at that.
Of course. Funny how things work out like that. Do you think there's going to be painting drones in the near future?
Someone called me a couple days ago for a graffiti cover-up drone. Yeah, it was like, that's not really, we're working on that. Okay, that'll be a little bit longer. But yeah, hopefully, let's see if we can, if you can hook up a spray tube to the drone and, maybe map a wall.
There you go.
It's not that hard, right?
Okay. Yeah. Just set up a little, pattern in the XYZ space and get proper coverage. And it's just like making drone maps, except applying paint to the side of a building. Cool.
Revolutionize a whole new industry.
I think there's drones that already do some artwork and things like that. Maybe there's like AI drone painting. Maybe I'm thinking of an elephant that did it. I don't know. It could be confused.
There could be.
Okay, cool. So
I know the Disney Imagineering guys are doing like the 100 drone art show for Disneyland.
perfect. So there is art in the drone industry.
There is. Yes, there is.
And we could be covering up art as well, graffiti. Well, graffiti, we like street art here. So, okay, cool. So a drone pilot, let's switch. Let's pivot a little bit.
Sure.
Over to some recent news. A drone pilot was just arrested in Sacramento for flying his drone near a wildfire. Now, this is I think the first instance where somebody was actually arrested for doing this. His name, and because we are going to publicly shame him, of course, is Eric Wamser. He's 57. According to the U.S. Forest Service, firefighting aircraft in the United States have had to be grounded 6 times due to hobby drones interfering with their operations in 2016. Is Eric Wamser getting arrested for doing this a good thing or a bad thing?
A great thing. I think it's a fantastic thing. And I hope that other people understand from Eric's arrest that this is dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Manned aircraft are the most dangerous operations are catastrophe rescue operations. And messing up the airspace, these guys have been communicating in that airspace for decades, and there's a process in place, right?
Yeah.
Now, we all know drones can help the recovery effort, but they're going to make it more dangerous and hurt it if it's done irresponsibly. So I'm glad that Eric got arrested. Please do not fly. Eric, I hope you're a good person, and I hope it all works out for you, but that was very irresponsible and very dangerous.
Yeah. Fortunately, it was just a misdemeanor, and nobody got hurt, so that's always a good thing. But one of the quotes from one of the firefighters or one of the guys doing the operation was every minute he was in the air was a minute that we had to spend not fighting that fire, because they have to ground the aircraft in the vicinity in order to continue fighting the fire. Once he's finally out of the area. So, Eric Wamser, you have been publicly shamed, announced. We're very disappointed in you, but we think you can do better in the future.
Yes, we think so. And I would say in general that, drones can do so much good, but we're all in the industry together, and something bad's going to happen, Ian. When that happens, it's going to be bad for all of us. We're all in the same boat in the end of the day. So everyone, please don't follow Eric Wamser's lead. And
don't be an Eric Wamser.
Please, let's keep it safe.
Yes. Anyone from, commercial drone operators, hobbyists, whatever. I was actually in LA just this past weekend in LA, and I was just, kind of at the beach, saw the Phantom 4 or Phantom 3, whatever it was, just hovering around, heard the familiar sound. And, if you're in LA or even a lot of beaches, actually, like there are super low flying aircraft. I was actually pretty surprised because when I was flying, helicopters super, super low, like, 100, 200 feet above the beach, there was really nothing to worry about except like a kite. And I was just like, oh my God, like there was just a hauling butt across the horizon was just like police helicopters and things. So it's not just wildfires, of course, but I'm actually kind of surprised that these police helicopter people and just civilian folks are still flying solo over the beach. I don't know.
My analogy that I like to give is imagine if there was a new car technology that didn't follow the red lights and the green lights and the stop signs and the ambulances and all that stuff, right? That's what we have. It's helping us. It's making us safer, but you got to follow the rules of the road.
Yes. And
the rules of the air are the same rules, right? There's stop signs. There's on-ramps and off-ramps. There's all sorts of stuff. We got to follow the same rules.
Shout out to the FAA's know before you fly. That's B, the number 4, the letter U, very, very hip, and then fly. So you can download that app and check it out. There's also some other built-in safety measures. But anyways, we digress. Eric Wamser, adios. Let's talk a little bit about actual use cases. So you guys are experts in using drones in commercial settings. You've been at it for quite some time. Maybe you can give me some examples starting off with just the construction industry. How are construction companies, similar to Coleco, like large, small, how are they using drones right now?
Everyone, I would agree, by the way. LIFT, I think one of our sort of advantages or benefits is we've done so many different flights for so many different industries. The operational know-how is there, right? But specifically around construction, every company is still in the figure it out phase. So no one has got this as a, this is exactly how it works, right?
Yeah.
I would say generally the first thing that the construction companies get excited about drones for is marketing videos. Hey, check out our site. Look how cool it is, right? This is great. And so every time we show up at a construction site, we'll produce a 60-second quick site update marketing video for the client as just one of the deliverables, right? So it starts there. They're getting more sophisticated, though. So we'll do these marketing videos. We often will produce an orthomosaic, a geotagged orthomosaic, and we'll overlay the design file of the site.
Gotcha.
And what that can do is if you overlay the 2D CAD design with the 2D orthomosaic, you can detect any kind of surveying errors that may have occurred. And we've actually detected a couple where the building was off a foot or off 3 feet.
What happens when it's off like that?
Oh, okay. Well, if they detect it soon, all they got to do is pour a little cement in the new area. And we detected it soon. If they don't detect it soon, it's a $500,000 to $5 million to who knows how big of a problem it could be. And there was one tank that was fully built that we detected. That was a $5 million fix because they had to take the whole thing down and build it where it was supposed to be.
Wow.
So that's really good. So what those CAD overlays do is they prevent rework.
Okay.
Right. Another thing construction sites really look like when the building is done, we'll do a thermal of the building and a thermal inspection of the building.
Okay.
And we can find out where the leaks are, where the cracks are, and the customer loves seeing, oh, look at my building. It's super enclosed. There's no leaks. There's no anything. And that's the thermal video is delivered as part of the site commissioning process that the construction company gives to the client.
And what kind of thermal sensor were you guys using for that mostly? I mean, do you guys use the DJI XT yet, or?
We're using the DJI XT. We've used the FLIR T640 with an S900 or an S1000.
Okay, because it's not directly compatible with the Inspire, the M100, M600, etc. Okay.
Exactly. So I know we've used those two. The new, I forget the name of I think it's the FLIR View 2.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called. Matt would know better.
FLIR View Pro, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah,
let's give Matt a shout out. Matt Lyon, right?
Yes, Matt knows everything. Okay, I know some things. Okay, yes.
If we have any questions, we'll get in touch with him and have him chime in on the show. Cool. So thermal inspections, monitoring the site's progress too. I'm sure that's a pretty big one. I mean, what do you think? So, okay, the construction company first gets excited about marketing videos. what follows next? I mean, are you guys kind of guiding them, or are they, at this point, you said everyone's still figuring it out. Are they just like, well, can you guys kind of check out this and see, like, are they kind of experimenting, or?
Each site's a little different, and some guys are much more drone friendly than other guys. So for example, one site had a lot of earthwork. They really had a lot of work to do to flatten out the site to make it even, and a lot of dirt moving, probably like 2 or 3 months of bulldozers moving back and forth. So they asked us to track the progress of the bulldozers.
Gotcha.
And so we'd provide weekly contour lines, and then we do a difference from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to kind of show them, okay, each week you're moving this many cubic yards of dirt, right?
So they love that.
And they love that. And it was really helpful when they knew how close they were to finishing. They were able to kind of plan their deliveries for their other materials so that the moment they knew their pace, they knew when they were done. And actually, that particular site got finished ahead of schedule and under budget.
And that's huge, right? That's a huge thing if you can finish ahead of schedule.
Oh my gosh! Every day, I don't know. It's like a million. Every single day costs a lot on a site. So faster the better.
What kind of deliverable do you guys give too? And then I'll also kind of tie that in with, like, obviously you're using, it sounds like, quite a bit of DJI hardware, but, what kind of software do you guys use as well? I mean, it's a bunch of different things, right? There's not really a software company for drones yet that has like the full solution.
No, we will process in Pix4D. We'll process with Drone Deploy. We'll process with Skycatch. We make videos with Adobe Creative Suite. It's really, we do whatever we need to do to get that client happy, right? Each particular software has its positives and negatives to it.
Okay. And as far as the deliverables go, like, we're talking like a straight up the video, we're talking the raw imagery, but you also mentioned like ortho mosaics, probably elevation models, maybe contours.
And we're dealing typically with the sort of the earthwork contractors on site. So we'll deliver CAD files directly to them, .wg, .dwg format, .dxf format. The deliverables usually, I'm trying to think of it, a video, a couple of CAD files, and an ortho. And that's okay. Here we go. And sometimes the deliverable is literally an email with a number that says, here's how much dirt you moved, right? That's all they really want, right?
Yeah. And so drones are it's a way easier, kind of more, I guess, more budget conscious way and quicker way to, is it safer to use drones on construction sites? Do you ever get that feedback from them? Like, oh, well, Joe would have had to climb up to the top of the scaffolding and risk getting hit on the head by a brick to get that
bricks
view.
On the top, but okay.
Okay. Well, I'm not a construction worker,
yeah.
So.
I get that, but it's not often that someone says, hey, can you check out that bolt or whatever? It sounds great. It's happened a few times, but no, that doesn't happen that often.
Cool. So we hear that sometimes in mining, and actually the solar industry too, because sometimes they're on roofs and, kind of saving the insurance cost. I guess you can never really stop a construction worker from going on a roof. I mean, you're never going to substitute that. And you're never really going to fully substitute someone going out on a site. The drone's just kind of another tool, but was just interested in kind of the feedback there from construction companies on safety.
Yes.
There might be something there. Okay. What about maybe broadcast? How are people using drones in broadcast? How is LIFT supplying broadcast deliverables for media companies?
Well, broadcast deliverables are easy because they just want the footage and that's it, right? And drones are great at giving footage. Okay, so that's a
type in drone footage on YouTube, see what happens.
There's a couple of videos. Yeah. So what we deliver to them is what we say is 720p or 1080p streaming imagery to their broadcast truck.
That's awesome.
Whatever they want to do with it afterwards, they do, right? But
Can you share the kind of hardware that you guys use in order to get that set up?
Absolutely. So we fly a lot of Inspires for broadcasts, but Inspire, the Lightbridge 2 can only stream 720p. The sports guys always want 1080p. And so in that case, we've started using the Matrice 600.
Oh, cool. You guys have one?
Yes. We don't have one personally, but some of our operators have one.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. So we've used that a few times, but that's still very new, and it's not, we're experimental phases, we'll call it, right?
Okay.
But the deliverable for them, really, the hard part for them is, I mean, they know drones, they know the cool shots they can take. You know, sometimes we'll do a zoom in on the host of the show, whatever, that's like, you know, speaking. And then as he's speaking, we'll back up and like sort of gives perspective behind him.
Okay.
So you can get a lot of unique shots, but they're big companies, these broadcast guys, and they want to make sure their things are compliant. Their flights are compliant. They want to make sure that they still want to keep costs low. So they don't want to fly their 2 compliant officers from New York City to backwoods Oklahoma to look at tornado damage, right? They want someone in Oklahoma to look at the tornado damage. So it really helps because we can lower their costs. It's great for our local operators. You know, it's just really a win-win all the way around.
Insurance. We talked about insurance earlier today. What are you guys doing with insurance companies? I know that's kind of a bit of, you know, a focus for you guys currently. So what kind of work are insurance companies looking for drones to do? Insurance
companies are slow-moving behemoths, right? But they are not so slow-moving to they realize that drones are going to change their claims adjusting process, right?
Okay, so having a person go out to a specific site and survey damage, is that what it's kind of?
Yes. So I guess I'll back up one step. Claims adjustment is, I think, the most exciting insurance angle, but there really is 4 different aspects of insurance that will be affected by drones. You have there's going to be a new claims adjusting process with drones. There's going to be a new catastrophe response is going to take a whole new angle with drones. You're going to have underwriting. You know, what buildings they decide to insure will be different based upon drone imagery. And I think also drone thermal inspections. They want to check out that roof before they decide to say we're going to protect it. And then the 4th thing is risk engineering. So, you know, for example, if the insurance company can get their hands on these construction sites, maybe they can lower the construction company's insurance premiums if they can tell the construction company's doing things more safely.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So starting at the very, very beginning of that building.
Exactly. And lowering and basically tracking progress to say, okay, if you follow these procedures that we now know because we have drone imagery, we'll lower your insurance premium, right? You have to pay less insurance because we know you're safer.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. That one's further away, right? But I know insurance companies are thinking of those 4 buckets as their way to what drones can change in their specific industry. So the claims adjustment one is the big one, though. Okay. And I think step 1 in claims adjustment is roof inspection, roof claims, right? Hail damage is the
residential and commercial, both.
Residential and commercial. Hail damage on roofs is really a big cost to all insurance companies. And these insurance companies have armies of thousands of claims adjusters that travel the country chasing hailstorms around the country, writing 3 or 4 claims per day. There's probably a better way. And drones, and we're working with a lot of them to develop the research to figure out what does that better way look like. And I'd say that's our first foray into really the insurance space and drone technology affecting it.
Very cool. That's awesome. Okay. So what do you think about, the drone industry in general? Like, what's your favorite thing about the drone industry, Andrew?
That you're in it. My favorite thing, I don't know, it's so new. There's so many opportunities. Like, you know, you tell someone you're in drones and then they immediately have 3 new ideas that you hadn't thought of about how drones can affect it. Like, I think it really opens people's minds once they really realize that flying robots are everywhere and think of the possibilities. So I'll say the open-endedness of it. The people are fun. Yeah. There's no true experts, really. I mean, everyone, we're all figuring this out in a big group together. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's one of the purposes of this podcast is just to share the knowledge and the really cool, fun people that I've had some good nights out with, talking about different concepts in the industry and the ways that these tools are being used.
I've had jails call me asking for surveillance. I've had rich guys asking me for girlfriend tracking drones.
Okay, and how did that work out?
For $100,000, I'll get you a girlfriend tracking drone. I was like, actually, what you need is a therapist, but okay. I've had, what was I told you the graffiti drone. Yeah, just, I do think that drones are going to change the logistics industry, shipping and manufacturing and inventory tracking, not just for stockpiles, but just in general, like if you have Hellman's mayonnaise plant or whatever, you want to know how much mayonnaise you got there, right?
Beautiful example.
Yeah, well, that's a shout out to my roommate who runs the Hellman's mayonnaise plant in south of Chicago. There you go, Natalie.
Awesome, man. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to reverse the question a little bit. If you could change one thing about the drone industry, what would it be?
I think outside of the industry, people still have this negative connotation of drones. And I think inside of it, everyone is like, hey, we're just trying to help you. We're trying to help you recover. We're trying to help you get your crops better. We're trying to help keep your wind turbine inspectors on the ground. I don't think there's anyone in the drone industry that's thinking, okay, how am I going to take over the world with this? There's no evil intent with these things, right? But we had that drone word that everyone had the negative connotation to that I'd like to change that.
Yeah.
And I think we are, as an industry, moving that direction. I think people are accepting of drones more and more every day.
Totally, yeah. I've embraced the word drone instead of UAV or UAS or RPAS or SUAS or whatever the heck you want to call it. I mean, I'm just calling it a drone. The media has already embraced it, and maybe it started out, of course, as the negative connotation with the military ones, but also even with, drones are invading privacy and stuff. So.
Yes, I would agree. And let's just stick to drone. I agree. Come on, guys. It's too late to change.
Yeah. Just use drone. What is young? So I was. Let me give some backstory. I was stalking your LinkedIn profile earlier when I was waiting for you to roll up here. I saw that you were a member, or you were. What is Young Entrepreneurs of across America?
Across America is it's the main company behind Student Painters.
Oh, okay.
Student Painters is a company that trains college students how to run painting businesses for the summertime. Young entrepreneurs across America, right?
Excellent.
So that's what Young Entrepreneurs is. So my former life, I was an entrepreneurship coach for college students.
Excellent.
Yes. And specifically a sales coach for those students, right? Because that's really what, entrepreneurship starts at the sales level. So that's what that is.
Okay.
That's what Matt and I did together for 5 years, and then we started this. Now we want to we want to help guys run their drone business. Right? It's very similar.
Perfect. So there you go. So there's the nice segue that I was hoping for. You threw me for a loop for a second about the painting focus, but that also definitely applies. What would be your advice to some young entrepreneurs, maybe some old entrepreneurs, or some, middle-aged, 40-year-old entrepreneurs who want to start a business in the drone industry? I mean, any specific lessons that you've learned that you think would be useful to know, or just general advice?
There's so much advice.
Yeah,
I don't even know where to begin. I would say.
What about just starting up? Like, okay, what if you own a drone right now and you're just kind of using it for fun? And what if you wanted to monetize that?
I would say, you gotta get out there and sell your services, right?
Mm-hmm.
So go pick an industry that's local. A construction site's a great one. Real estate brokers are another great one. Those are probably the two easiest to get started with, I would say. Maybe if you know someone at your local news channel, that'd be great.
Nice.
And, a business starts from sales. So if you got a drone, you have a money-making piece of equipment, go and start talking to people. Or better yet, call me and we'll get you hooked up. All right. We'll get your compliance. You got to get the right insurance. You got to get the right policies and procedures in place. You need a pre-flight checklist if you're really going to do this thing safely. But, any of those options, I think, is where you'd get started. Real estate brokers is probably the first one that most guys go to.
And is it drone insurance? I've actually never had to go through the process of purchasing it myself or acquiring it. What's, is that pretty easy to find now? Is it kind of like you have to search around? Like, what do you look for when you're looking for a drone insurance?
Yeah, you need if you're actually starting your drone business, you need general liability insurance that every business needs, no matter what, and then you specifically need aircraft liability insurance.
Is that the hull insurance?
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, if you don't have both, you won't get a job unless the person that's paying you doesn't know, right? Because you need to have the aircraft liability as well. A lot of companies are now offering aircraft liability. Some companies are wrapping aircraft in general together in one. But if you go on Google and type in drone insurance, there'll be plenty of options for you there.
Okay.
Transport Risk Management is our favorite. They give you great deals on combo general and aircraft liability.
Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and I'll link them up on the show notes here. Well, awesome. So, thank you so much. Everybody, we had Andrew Dennison on the show. He's COO of LIFT Technologies out of Chicago, Illinois. You can follow them on Twitter at LIFT UAV. You guys need to change that to drone.
We're working on it, okay? There's a whole new rebranding happening, everyone. LIFT is going to change soon. Uplift.
There we go. Well, right now it's at LIFT UAV on Twitter. You can check out their website at lift-tech.com. Any last words for the listeners here that you've been able to impart some knowledge to?
Thank you for listening. Thank you for having me in. Let's all fly safe and reach out if you want to chat. I love talking to everyone in the drone industry. You know, we're all in a big pool together. I think if you're in it, you see it's going to be giant. There will be thousands and thousands of flights every day, drone flights every day. So, you know, let's help each other. Let's keep it safe out there, and hope to meet you soon.
Great. Yeah, I have to say that Andrew is definitely really cool to chat with. So you should take him up on that. So thanks, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at Drones Podcast and on Facebook at facebook.com/Drones Podcast. If you like the show, if you want to get in touch, please hit us up. You can subscribe on iTunes, on Google Play, leave a review or a rating. It helps a ton in the beginning to try to get us on that new and noteworthy section, because the organic listeners is really cool for people to discover this new technology and share with us. So without further ado, we bid you farewell, and we'll go ahead and see you on the flip side. Fly safe. Cheers.